we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
At the press conference, Teófimo López delivered a fierce message to Shakur Stevenson, vowing to make him pay inside the ring, acknowledging that many see him as the underdog. López said he thrives in that role and plans to prove exactly what he's capable of. He warned that underestimating him is a serious mistake and promised a commanding performance that will erase all doubts about his skill, power, and relentless determination.
Know that. They kept canceling that protection program.
Money talk, walk. Money talk.
López displays fierce determination ahead of his clash with Shakur Stevenson, projecting confidence and sharp focus. He makes it clear that he plans to control the fight, showcasing his skill, power, and tactical approach. With his mindset locked in, López is fully committed to victory and determined to leave no questions about his true abilities.
Yeah. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas somewhere, having a go.
Teófimo López makes it clear he has no intention of letting Shakur Stevenson take the belt he sacrificed so much to win. He highlights the years of struggle, pain, and dedication that shaped his journey, saying the title represents everything he endured. For López, this fight is about defending what he built through relentless hard work and perseverance. With unshakable belief in himself, he approaches a moment as deeply personal, driven by pride and resolve, determined to protect what he earned through blood, discipline, and commitment.
Being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson, obviously
sure.
You guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny and the
Aoya analyzes the Shakur Stevenson, Teófimo López matchup as a fight that is likely to stretch the full 12 rounds, with the opening half playing a crucial role in shaping the outcome. He suggests Shakur may start cautiously, using movement and a defensive approach to study López rather than pressing early. If López can assert himself and clearly take the early rounds, it could force Shakur to adjust later and turn the fight into a much tighter battle. López is portrayed as a fast starter who feeds off early momentum and explosiveness, raising questions about whether he can maintain that pace over the distance. Should Shakur feel he's behind early, he may be pushed to open up in the championship rounds, setting up a tense and competitive finish. However, if López falls behind at the start, Shakur's control and discipline could allow him to comfortably manage his way to a clear decision, underscoring how energy, timing, and round-by-round strategy will ultimately decide the fight.
I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight. I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. And that'll make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight, you know what I mean, where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him.
Shakur Stevenson explains that his motivation is fueled by an intense competitive drive and a constant desire to face the toughest challenges in boxing. After watching Teófimo López's past performances, he was drawn to Lopez's confidence and flashy style, which reminded him of a young Roy Jones Jr. and sparked his interest in testing himself against that level of talent. Stevenson sees this fight as a key moment to measure his skills against an elite opponent while adjusting to new tactics and styles. Reflecting on his bout with William Ada, he admits it was unusual and demanding but ultimately vital to his development, proving he could perform under pressure and adversity. That experience reinforces belief that constant pressure fighters are meant to push him, and that he can successfully manage them. Heading into the Lopez fight, Stevenson feels prepared for the speed, power, and unpredictability he will face, trusting his focus, adaptability, and experience to guide him through a smart, high-level battle that will test every aspect of his ability and mental strength.
But, bro, what is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool, so it kind of made me want to get in the ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's going to have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear.
Chris Algieri highlights the Shakur Stevenson, Teófimo López matchup as a vital fight for boxing, praising it as a kind of risk-taking contest the sport needs. He supports elite fighters facing one another without fear of losses, noting that true greatness isn't erased by setbacks. Algieri says this bout reflects that mindset, describing it as a high-level technical showdown rather than a reckless slugfest, where skill, timing, and strategy will captivate fans. He adds that a win for Shakur would firmly place him among the top pound-for-pound fighters, even though many already see him in that tier. Framing the fight as a modern throwback to classic clashes between the best in the division, Algieri emphasizes the history, tension, and tactical depth involved, proving that elite boxing still delivers drama and lasting significance.
Health of boxing on this side of the world. Listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teófimo López kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teófimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teófimo López. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say.
I mean,
yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, you know, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to kind of to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him, man.
But I'll tell you what. I don't. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out, and this is going to be one of those.
Bruce Carrington breaks down Teófimo López's upcoming fight with Shakur Stevenson by pointing to a potential weakness in López's style, dealing with constant movement and changing angles. While López is naturally athletic and carries serious power, Carrington suggests he can struggle against opponents who control distance and stay disciplined with their footwork. Stevenson's calm approach and sharp ring IQ could take advantage of this by drawing López into overcommitting or swinging at air. By managing range and tempo, Stevenson can force López to fight at his pace instead of unleashing his usual explosiveness. Carrington adds that López's dependence on power and sudden bursts may work against him when facing a patient, mobile fighter who can defend, reset, and conserve energy. The analysis suggests that unless López adjusts his movement and shows greater patience, Stevenson's technical skill, timing, and ring awareness could gradually neutralize López's strengths and decide the fight.
Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. You know, he has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, you know, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, you know, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, you know, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, you know, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see just because southpaw that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. You know, only time he's open. So yeah, other than that, bro, it's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teófimo López, but
that's all for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.